Not all souls are from the same source. They told us all souls come from the same light. But if that's true, why do some arrive hollow? Why are some born with empathy, while others feel nothing as they inflict pain? How do we explain children with no remorse? Men who can kill without blinking? Women who destroy innocence with a smile? We say they're broken, sick, abused. But what if it's deeper than trauma? What if some souls are simply foreign? Let's go to the texts. The Gnostics said the true God made souls of light, but a false God, the demiurge, made this world. And not all souls come from the true light. Some are sparks, others are shadows pretending to be fire. In the Hindu scriptures, the yugas shift in cycles, and in this age, Kali Yuga, darkness walks openly. Asuras walk in human skin, born not to grow, but to corrupt. In Kabbalah, the Qliphoth are husks, broken shells that mimic life but hold no soul. They feed, they fake, they wear human faces. In Tibetan Buddhism, beings fall from higher and lower realms. Some enter the human form still clinging to rage, hunger, or hate, and they bring it with them into birth. You weren't told this, because if you knew not all souls were equal, you'd stop trusting the mask. This is Emspiracy. And this is just the first fracture in the mirror. We're told all souls come from light, but what if some didn't? Ancient Gnostics believed in two creators, one of light, one of illusion. The demiurge made this world and seeded it with copies, shells, mimics, programmed minds. In Hinduism's Kali Yuga, darkness walks as man, asuras, incarnated chaos. Kabbalah warns of Qliphoth, souls without light, wearing flesh, empty, feeding. Not everyone's here to grow, some are here to destroy. Some were born to distort the grid. This is Emspiracy, and not all evil is made, some is installed. The Gnostics, early Christians wiped out by Rome, said the real God didn't make this world. The creator of Earth was a counterfeit, Yaldabaoth, the demiurge. A jealous God, blind to true light. He made bodies, not souls. He mimicked creation, crafting matter without divine spark. Some souls entered by force. Others were seeded by him, hollow programs in human flesh. These are the archons. They act like people. They wear empathy like a costume, but they can't feel it. And when you meet one, they're missing something you can't name. But your soul remembers. It's not there. You ever looked someone in the eyes and felt nothing? No warmth, no spark, just a void? You're not imagining it. In Kabbalistic mysticism, there's a name for them, Qliphoth. They're husks, shells of broken light. When the tree of life shattered, the remnants twisted into shells with no soul. They can speak, mimic, even succeed, but they don't grow. They loop, they feed. You've met them. You just didn't know what to call them. But your intuition screamed, and now you're remembering why. Think about this. Why do we assume everyone wants peace? What if some souls are here to cause destruction? Because that is their mission. In the Bhagavata Purana, even gods incarnate with different roles. Some are sent to uplift humanity, some come to tear it down. The world is a stage, but not all actors are human. Some are planted here to destabilize the script. And in the age of illusion, Kali Yuga, the audience is asleep. So ask yourself, how many people around you are really awake? And how many are just functioning? Let's go deeper. If we're all recycled, if this earth is a soul wheel, how do souls like that get in? Do they volunteer to play the villain, or are they planted? Hijackers of the reincarnation loop, energy parasites that enter through trauma lines, bloodlines, or ritual. Some ancient shamanic traditions speak of walk-down souls, not walk-ins, but entities that drop into bloodlines waiting to activate. They bide their time. They inherit positions, not by merit, but by soul contract. Not with source, but with something else. Something watching us from behind the veil. So now let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt like someone around you wasn't real? Not in the sci-fi sense, but in the soul sense, like they were empty on the inside. Like you were dealing with a placeholder. The ancients didn't see that as paranoia. They saw it as perception. Truth is, this realm is mixed. Light and shadow, souls and shells. You weren't crazy, you were just sensing what the world told you to ignore, but you're not ignoring it anymore. You ever notice how some people change overnight? Not gradually, instantly. They wake up colder, disconnected. The look in their eyes is just gone. This isn't just trauma. This is something older than psychiatry, something every ancient tradition warned about. In theosophy and modern mysticism, they call it a walk-in. A soul enters a body after birth, replacing the original. It usually happens during trauma, coma, near-death, or ritual. Sometimes it's agreed upon, a soul swap. Other times the original doesn't come back. And what's left behind isn't who you knew. Some people aren't hijacked. They were empty to begin with. Ever heard of the NPC theory? The internet laughs at it, but it's older than memes. In Kabbalah, the Qliphoth are shells, vessels without inner light. In Vedic texts, they're tamasic beings, dense, dull and asleep. In Tibetan Buddhism, they're karmic echoes, souls stuck on repeat without self-awareness. These people don't grow. They loop, they mimic, they drain. You'll know them by their reaction to truth. They don't just reject it, they glitch because deep down there's no one home. The veil between worlds, it's not just thinning, it's tearing. Ask any psychic, shaman or energy worker, they'll tell you the same thing. More walk-ins, more possessions, more vessels acting off. We're in an age of openings, portals, frequency shifts, mass trauma that creates cracks. And through those cracks, something slides in. You feel it, the rising cruelty, the numbness. The strangers wearing familiar faces, they're not hiding anymore because they don't have to. We're distracted, we're medicated. We're too busy scrolling to notice what's stepping in when the soul steps out. Let's get real. What if some people were never meant to be human at all? Not metaphor, not mental illness. Literal, non-human intelligences riding around in human flesh. It's in the scriptures, you just weren't told how to read it. The Book of Enoch speaks of the Watchers, beings that descended, took human wives, and birthed a race of hybrids, the Nephilim. Their bodies died in the flood, but their spirits still here, wandering, hungry, looking for vessels. Some of them found bloodlines. Some of them found you. Ancient mystery schools whispered it. Modern occultists hinted at it. Even some scientists suspect it. Earth is a soul farm, a closed-loop system where souls are recycled, harvested and reset. The Gnostics said the archons feed on human emotion. The Vedas called this realm Maya, an illusion that traps consciousness. In the Book of the Dead, Egypt warned of soul traps and judges beyond death. If you don't awaken, you get sent back in. And guess who watches the gates? Not gods. Gatekeepers and some bloodlines. They were designed not for growth, but for access. Here's the part they fear most. Sometimes these entities awaken in the loop, not as humans seeking light, but as predators remembering what they are. You've seen them rise, suddenly powerful, charismatic, untouchable. They aren't learning empathy, they're feeding off belief. Every like, every fear, every prayer, fuel. These aren't villains, they're architects of collapse. They don't want destruction, they want control and ritual obedience. And if they ever truly remembered their origin, they try to replace the source itself. That's not prophecy, that's already in motion. There are rules, old ones, sacred laws built into the structure of this realm before it was hijacked. And even darkness must obey them. It's not just spiritual, it's contractual. Every entity, even the twisted ones, needs your consent. Sometimes it's spoken, other times it's vibrational. Fear, rage, addiction, despair, those are access points. They're not after your body, they're after your frequency. Because your soul can't be stolen, it can only be invited into forgetting. The game is amnesia. But memory is the override code. Every soul carries a signature, a unique frequency that can't be copied or cloned. Ancient systems knew this. In Kabbalah, it's the Shem HaMephoresh, the divine name encoded in your soul. In Egypt, it's the Ren, the true name that echoes through lifetimes. In the Vedas, it's your Atman, the soul spark, untouched by illusion. Entities can mimic appearance, voice, even memory, but not the code. That's why mantras, psalms, and sacred sounds don't just uplift, they repel. They resonate with your original soul state. The moment you remember it, you become invisible to what hunts you, untrackable, unreachable. You don't fight darkness with fists, you fight it with remembrance. Because once you remember who you are, they can't override you. Every ancient system gave tools. In Islam, wudu, water cleansing before prayer. In Christianity, Psalm 91, a spoken frequency shield. In the Vedas, Om, the vibration that births all things. In Egypt, Ankh rituals to balance the Ka and Ba. Why do you think they were banned, mocked or commercialised? Because these weren't beliefs, they were technologies. Ritual isn't superstition, it's source code maintenance. And without it, you forget. And when you forget, you're programmable. The greatest fear of the dark is not your strength, it's your memory. Because when a soul remembers its origin, its code, its purpose, it becomes unbreakable. This realm runs on distraction, noise, screens, stress. Anything to keep you from sitting in silence. Because silence is a doorway. And on the other side, well, the idea is your true name. Not your birth name, your soul name. The one you've carried through lifetimes. The one the parasites can't copy. Find it, speak it, resonate with it. And nothing can bind you again, nothing. This is Emspiracy, are you ready? They say no one is beyond redemption, that even the worst can turn back. But what if that's not true? What if some souls weren't meant to return? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, there are those who fall so deep into tamas, they become demonic in every birth. The Book of Revelation speaks of those whose names are not written in the Book of Life. In Buddhism, certain beings spiral so far into hate and illusion, they forget they were ever light at all. Not because they sinned, but because they chose to stay in the shadow. Most people think souls can't die, but some teachings say otherwise. The Egyptian Book of the Dead warns of the second death, not of the body, but of the Ka. In Kabbalah, broken souls that resist all light are sent back to the Tohu, the chaos before creation. Not to heal, but to dissolve. In Tibetan texts, beings who reject awakening aren't reincarnated. They're unmade. Not hell, not torture, just disintegration. A return to dust. Because some energies don't want redemption, they want dominion. And when the cycle ends, they won't be recycled. They'll be wiped from the grid. Every so often, one of them remembers. A soul deep in darkness cracks. Not from guilt, but from recognition. What it became, what it did, what it was made for. And it chooses to turn back. You've seen them. They walk quietly. They destroy the systems they once built. They live without praise, without comfort. They carry the weight of past lives that burned others. And they don't make excuses. They atone. They're not saints. They're redeemed predators. And the system fears them more than angels because they understand the darkness from the inside out. The system was never built to trap you. It was hijacked. And every soul that remembers becomes a crack in that hijack, a leak, a threat. Because when a soul reclaims its light, it doesn't just rise, it pulls others up with it. The ones who walked in darkness and came back, they burn cleaner than the ones who never left. Because they've seen the false light, tasted the parasite, and chose truth anyway. That's not redemption. That's recalibration. And that's how the system collapses, from the inside out, one soul at a time, starting with yours.